This review has been approved by Lord Carnage.
Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything.
Happy New Year from Classic Game Room. It's 2219 AD, and Earth's Star Federation has unleashed the R-grade Advanced Tactical Combat Fighter to save the planet from certain destruction at the hands of the bloodthirsty Cecilia Federation. Woo! In RayStorm. Every year's got its problems. In 2017, it's giant insects. In 2084, it's the Robotrons. In 2219... you'll be facing endless waves of spaceships and giant end bosses with homing lasers. In RayStorm for the PlayStation. The second game in Taito's Ray trilogy of spaceship shooters. Published by Working Designs and Spaz, part of their signature series. Where, by the way, you can win $10,000! Let's do that! Ah, damn it! Just missed it by a few years. Fortunately, the game still looks good and plays great, even in the future. I think it's safe to say if you enjoy vertical scrolling spaceship shooters, you're gonna like this one. Now there's a bit of confusion with the first game in the series, originally called Ray Force. I reviewed it on the Sega Saturn twice, each time with a different name, Layer Section and Galactic Attack. Neither of which are called Ray Force, but they're both Ray Force, and this is RayStorm, and then there's a game after this called Ray Crisis. And to add even more confusion, I just reviewed an extremely fun driving game from Taito on the PlayStation called Ray Tracers, which has a similar font on the cover. They just love their rays over there at Taito, don't they? Well, they do make good games. We all know that. And while RayStorm holds its value, it's worth every penny. Although if you really want your best bang for the buck, go for Galactic Attack on the Saturn, published by Acclaim, which automatically makes it affordable. Now, as you can see, this game looks great. It plays really well. I'm using the PlayStation 3 here. And the music is nice, too. Wait till we get to the desert level. That's my favorite song in the game. You can play 1 or 2 player cooperatively. There's also 2 different ships to choose from. The standard one with a green spread shot and 8 lock-on lasers, or the one I'm using here which has a laser shot and 16 lock-on lasers. And I love lock-on lasers. Like, why use missiles when you can use lasers? You have to collect power-ups to get the full number of lock-on lasers. And that's probably the star feature of the Ray games, is that you can blow enemies away with your standard lasers shooting out of the front of your spaceship, and then lock on to ground targets and other ships with your lock-on lasers. You can choose auto lock-on or manual, which is harder but gives you a bigger score with combos. If you lock onto a whole bunch of stuff at once and then blow them away, you get a lot of points, but I found the best scores come with just staying alive, because you get huge bonus points for completing levels. And you can adjust the difficulty for each level. I've been playing the standard difficulty. It's hard, it's a tough game. Can't quite beat it yet on the standard difficulty, but it's not impossible. It's not so frustrating that I just can't take it. I like the game. I think it's fun, it's approachable, it looks good, it sounds good, but it's still not as good as the first one, and it's hard to say why. But I love this music, my favorite music in the game, and the last 2 levels are really nice sounding too. While the Sega Saturn usually gets far more credit when it comes to 2D vertical or horizontally scrolling shooters, the PlayStation does a pretty good job here. It's not as good as the Saturn, admittedly, but when you play it on the PlayStation 3 and output it through HDMI, it looks great. RayStorm is totally a must-have as far as I'm concerned. Don't forget you've got a special attack which comes in handy, and of course the game will save your high scores as well. Now I've got a classic game room shout out and thank you to send to a familiar friend, Ahmed from Springfield Gardens, New York. Thank you for RayStorm, highly recommended. And if you think this looks fun, which it is, don't forget to play Ray Force, Galactic Attack Layer Section, and I think it's also called Gunlock in Europe. Here's hoping the next game is simply called Ray's Fist of Laser on the Dreamcast. You can email Taito and ask when that's coming out. Until then, enjoy some RayStorm on your PlayStation, PlayStation 2 or PS3.